Hello, my name is Samuel George London, and welcome to Comics for the Apocalypse. On today's episode, I speak to comic book publisher and incredibly kind human being, Aaron Rackley, about what comics he would take into the apocalypse. But before we get into it, if you do enjoy the show, please leave a review for us on iTunes or whichever podcast service you use, as not only will it let me know that you liked it, but I believe it helps make other people aware of the show as well. Now, without further ado, on with the show. Hello, Aaron Rackley.
Good evening, Samuel.
How's it going, mate?
Yeah, pretty good, thank you.
Excellent. How was your Christmas and New Year's?
Yeah, Christmas was really good. Loads of food, loads of presents. New Year was pretty good too. Went round family, and don't normally go out on New Year's, but this year went round to my family's house and just got really drunk. And then, unfortunately, was ill until the end of last week. So just recovering, getting back to normal.
Oh, mate, it's savage. Never good to be ill, kind of in the first week of work.
Oh yeah, always. Yeah, they're always like, "Oh, you're trying to get more time off work, are you?" Oh yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah, just using it as an excuse. Yeah, that old chestnut. But no, that's brutal, mate. And for the listeners' sake, this will be the last week that I'll ask somebody about their Christmas and New Year's, because this will be the last one in January. So for the listeners, you don't have to worry about that from next week. So it's all good. But firstly, Aaron, thank you so much for being on Comics for the Apocalypse. It's a real pleasure to have you on. Just like Sarah Millman, I first met you last year at True Believers, and it was yeah. It seems like that's the kind of starting point for a lot of kind of collaborations in the indie comic scene in the UK. But I was amazed to find out about what you do in the world of comics. So, for anybody that doesn't know you, what do you do in the world of comics?
Yeah, so basically, I do two things. I run a charity first and foremost called Little Heroes Comics, and we send comic making kits to children who find themselves in hospitals and other like healthcare organisations across the UK. And the second thing I do, which is very recent, it's only been 6 months running now, is running a children's all ages publishing house as well. So books, comics, that kind of stuff, all aimed at trying to create books that we would want the kids in the hospitals to read alongside our kits. So that's what we're doing at the moment, what I'm doing. And it's interesting you mentioned True Believers, because that is literally the first. So that was last February, and that was the first comic convention we'd actually ever tabled at as well. So Amazing. It was a very nerve-wracking experience.
Isn't it? I mean, that's just kind of fate, really, because you have had an incredibly busy year with so many Kickstarters and successful Kickstarters at that. The most recent of which was How to Make Comics with Springworth. I'm actually holding my copy right here.
I'm glad you've got it.
Yeah, I did. I received it the other day. I'm yet to tweet about it. I'll tweet about it in the next couple of days. But it's great, mate. You should be incredibly proud yourself and Tony Esmond and Andy Hanks. It's a great book, and I'm going to have to keep it pristine for the next few years, because my daughter is only 18 months old. So she's got a few years before she can go to town on that. I could let her have a go at it now, but it'll be scribbled and torn apart in about 2 minutes. So
that's just after you've had it, isn't it?
Oh yeah, that's me. Like, let alone her. So I'm saving it for her sake. But no, it's great, mate. And anybody that kind of wants to get into making comics with their children, I highly recommend it. And they can just get that from the Fair Spark Books website. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely, and it's reduced price on there as well than what you'd get if you bought it from the stores or anywhere else. So, and free digital copy as well, so you can print off the pages, so then you don't have to ruin the magazine if you really want to.
Amazing. And the website for FairSpark?
It's just www.fairsparksbooks.co.uk.
Fantastic. And for Little Heroes,
it's the same. It's littleheroescomics.co.uk. Try and get the domain names to match exactly the name of the brand, just so no one forgets.
Mate. It's all about that branding.
Yeah,
corporate branding all the way, mate.
Yeah.
And I assume people can just find you on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, kind of under those.
Yeah, if you search for both of those on all of those platforms, you're bound to find us.
Fantastic. And then the last thing before we get into our comics for the Apocalypse is that you do have another Kickstarter running at the moment as well, don't you?
Yeah, we currently have the Gallant and Amos First Collected Adventures. So it's a graphic novel that collates the first 4 issues of Gallant and Amos, which is a little buddy adventure comic that we have going periodically. That is about a knight and a dragon getting up to all sorts of mischief as they as they do adventures for hire, basically. And so it's a great little collection and has loads of extra goodies like sketchbook material inside. It's got a few extra pages from one of the anthologies that it was in as well. So it's got a lot of good extras, and it's going to have an exclusive hardback edition that you'll only be able to get on Kickstarter.
Amazing.
So we won't be selling that at all after the Kickstarter's ended. You'll only be able to get the trade back. So I'm really excited by that.
So get to it. And I guess it's just a case of just searching for Gallant and Amos on Kickstarter.
Yeah, and it'll just come up. Yeah, it's very, very unique.
Fun. Yeah, totally. And for anybody listening, if you look in the show notes, you'll find a link to that Kickstarter as well. So, have a look. And if you like asterisks and things like that, then you'll certainly like Gallant and Amos.
Absolutely.
Perfect. Great. So getting into our comics for the Apocalypse, starting off with the first question that everybody's asked. What type of apocalypse would you like to be in, or what type of apocalypse do you think you'd survive in?
It's always tough when someone else asks you this question, isn't it? Because it always comes up whenever you're having a conversation about zombies and stuff like that.
Down the pub, yeah. So I thought about it, and I don't think I'd want to be in a zombie apocalypse because I can't run for a long time. So for me, that seems like an issue. And I'm not. I played a Resident Evil a little while ago, and the newer one, and when you're trying to escape those people's house, and I could only play it in 15-minute bursts because I was getting heart attacks and heart palpitations from being that scared. So I was thinking, do you know what? I'm going to go with world disaster. I'm thinking, what was that film? Is it 2012 or whatever it was? Oh yeah. I can't remember what year it was. The Day After Tomorrow and 2012. It's kind of like basically the Fates.
All those kind of things. But, yeah, big storms, world gets ruined, people have to rebuild. I think I'd do better in that kind of disaster of surviving afterwards and rebuilding rather than surviving hordes of zombies and being bitten every 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's kind of like the disaster is at the start rather than continual afterwards. With zombies, it's just continuous forever. At least kind of with that, it's like, then you get to rebuild afterwards. So we've had this ginormous global storm, basically. And, it's been a few months down the line. People are starting to rebuild. You found yourself in a group and you're around the fire one evening because it's just going to be about hanging around the fire now, isn't it?
That's pretty much it.
Basically, at night, because there's not going to be any iPads or anything, put it that way. The first question that comes up is, what's the first comic you remember enjoying?
So, interesting, because I have a really bad memory, and my fiance will attest to that. Can't remember what I was doing last week. So, let alone what I remember the first one reading or even liking. But I grew up in the 90s, so for me it was always when you could afford it, you go down to the newsagents, buy some little Marvel paper, like little throwaway comics, and they were literally throwaway when I when I was younger because I had loads of brothers and sisters, so well, brothers and one sister, so they just got ruined. But the one that I always had, and I only ever had one issue of it, was Silver Surfer issue 6 from the 1987 run, and I've still got it. It's
Amazing.
tatty. It's tatty.
Sure. I wouldn't expect
it's red.
anything less, you know.
I do have another pristine version of it, but
Right. Oh, right. You found one.
yeah. Well, it started the obsession that I have in my life of Silver Surfer collecting. But I remember it because all the other ones had like Spider-Man and all these kind of things, and you know everyone likes to associate with them because he was younger and they could associate with him. But when I started reading this one, now this one was an interesting issue because it was when they started introducing Silver Surfer to the world of like the Skrull and the Kree Wars and who the Elders were, because the Obliterator was in the issue before in this one, and half of the issue is just about like the Obliterator and telling the Silver Surfer about the universe and how it began and all about death and eternity and all this kind of stuff. And it was just really big concepts that when I was younger were just, you know, blowing in my mind just. And I didn't appreciate it as much as I do now when I was younger, even though I appreciated it a lot, because now I just have a better understanding of the concepts it was talking about. But for me, that's the one I've always had. It was always this green cover sitting in my drawer that I opened up and read a lot. So that, yeah, definitely that one.
That's the one
I remember the
most.
most.
The most amazing.
Yeah.
And something that I saw an interview that was rerun on maybe it was I think I just came across it on YouTube with Stan Lee. Kind of during the kind of 80s and 90s, he was on a chat show, and he was saying that, you know, they always use college grade kind of grammar and language,
Yeah.
basically, in Marvel Comics. And the reason for that is so that, you know, kids get, you know, comics anyway, like they can appreciate the art and appreciate some of the main themes and things, but it's so that when readers become older, they can reappreciate it, basically.
Oh yeah, you get a
kind
totally
of
different
in a different way.
Yeah.
Totally. It's incredible. Amazing. So the next question that comes up around the campfire is, so what's the funniest or the comic that made you laugh out loud the most?
Yeah, so I had to really think about this one hard, because I'm generally quite an easy guy to make laugh. I laugh at the most stupid jokes, and I laugh at the most ridiculous jokes. Dad jokes always get me, no matter what, they get me. So I thought about it, but then I thought there's an indie one that I really like, and it's by Ken Reynolds, and it's My Life as a Cartoon. And I haven't got a chance to buy the book yet. I think I will be at a convention he's at soon, so I will pick it up. But he's been posting on Instagram, on his Instagram, a page. I think he's been pretty much doing a page a day. And if you don't know Ken Reynolds, audience, I know you do, but
I do, yeah. He'll be on the show soon, by the way.
Yeah.
As well.
Oh, that's amazing. So he obviously makes great comics, but he also is a graphic designer by trade. And his story I think it's called My Life as a Cartoon. Yeah. The pages are just pretty much pages of him sitting at his desk and the most mundane jokes about how the little things of being a graphic designer can annoy you. And having done that for only a couple of years at university, I already associate with everything he says on every page. And I just can't stop laughing every time I read it. So they're very quick reads, only 6 panels usually. So I would definitely check that out. It's amazing.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's a really, really funny one. And people can just basically check it out if they just Google Ken Reynolds my life as a cartoon. And as I say, we'll have Ken on the show relatively soon. But it's really, really funny. Like there's one that stands out for me where he's got a email from the client about the color that he's used is perfect, and then kind of, it goes into a flashback that, he actually sneezed into a tissue, and then he looked in the tissue, because we always do. Like, I don't know why we do that. I guess it's kind of evolutionarily, like, that it's a good idea to look at kind of your snot to check it that there's no poop in it or something. I don't know.
Make sure it's still normal.
Yeah, exactly. Just check it's normal. That's how he found the colour, basically. It's from the snot in the tissue. Absolutely fantastic. So everybody go Google that, and it will come up. That's certainly funny ones.
One of my favourite ones is he's like working at his computer. I can't remember the exact wording, but basically his wife comes up and is like, can you do the washing up loads of laundry and stuff? And he's like, yeah, no problem, I'm just working at my schedule for the next month anyway. And then later on she comes back and he's like, yeah, I can fit it in maybe tomorrow or Thursday. And it's just like, brilliant. Yeah, we all know that. Yeah. Being asked to do something and you're like, in about a week maybe. So
yeah, I can fit it in then. Okay. Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic. Brilliant. And then changing gears, the next question that comes up is what's the saddest or most upsetting comic that you've ever read?
Yeah. So I'm going to apologise to everyone in straight away, because anyone who does know me for more than 5 minutes and talks to me about comics knows that I will talk about Silver Surfer non-stop.
Too right.
And unfortunately, I'm back there again. So I was in hospital a little while ago in 2013, and that's when I really got back into reading Silver Surfer with the Dan Slott run. And last year it ended, and it wasn't the fact that it ended. Series come and go, but the series had been, I think it was about 35 issues, something like that, with Dan Slott and Allred together non-stop throughout the whole thing. And if you haven't read this particular series that happened from 2013 to 2018, the Silver Surfer has a companion throughout the whole of this run. And throughout the whole of the run, you get little hints of their story and will they get together, will they not get together, and all this kind of stuff. And I don't want to ruin it because, it's such a good storyline. I don't want people to be ruined. But you need to read the last few issues.
Right.
Well, just read the whole thing, but the last few issues will get you, because not only do you know it's the end of the Dan Slott run and Allred run, it's the end of these two characters together. It's the end of that whole. And Dan is such a good writer that he left clues from the first issue all the way up to the end. Amazing. And it's only once you know what the ending is that you go back and you reread it all, and it just pulls on you. It really does. So that's the first time I think I've almost come close to being emotional for a comic, I think.
Sure, so, that's powerful.
Yeah, and I don't want to ruin it. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah. We'll kind of keep it as spoiler free as possible. But it sounds like it's kind of the type of thing that you can the type of run that you can reread again and again.
Oh, yeah. There's an issue in it. I think it's 13 of the. So it's split up into two parts. The first, I think it was like 13 to 15, and then 17 to 18, or 16 to 18. And in the second run, there's issue 13. It has what's a Morbius strip, and you have to read the comic. As you read it, the panels, it's hard to describe like talking, but the panels kind of wave, yeah? And there's a wave coming from the other direction upside down, so they like overlapping each other, but that's throughout the whole comic. Wow. So if you ripped out every page and laid them out end to end, you'd have a continuous infinity. So you can literally just keep reading, and you're just be in a circle, and the story is a loop. So that's how incredible that issue is on its own. I need to buy a couple of issues just so I can actually rip them up and
make a Morbius strip out of it and kind of. Oh, that is amazing.
But that's the kind of stuff you get in that Silver Surfer-ish, that run. It's just amazing.
Oh,
And I've just
so
got the
cool.
hardback that came out as well, and it's like the 600-page weight. So
Yeah, totally. Oh, that's a
yeah,
bad boy. Oh, that's amazing. Wicked. And then the next question that comes up is, what's the scariest or most horrifying comic?
yeah. So I struggle with this one because, as I say, I haven't read a lot of scary comics. I
Mm,
really haven't. So I'm fine. I just don't have an answer for this one. This is
yeah,
really sad to say, but to be fair, I don't even get scared by horror movies anymore or anything like that.
yeah,
I said earlier, I got scared by that new Resident Evil game, but I think I've lost being dragged into comics and
mm,
movies in that kind of way now for scary stuff.
hmm
Um, so I'm not too sure, unfortunately. But if anyone's got any recommendations, I'll definitely read some because I would really love to have a comic that can scare me or make me jump a
definitely.
little bit.
Oh yeah, well, I reckon Ken's probably got a good idea for that. So you'll have to wait until the Ken Reynolds
Okay.
episode. But yes, for now we'll keep that blank, and then we'll get you on in the future
Yeah,
to talk
I'll
about
get
you
some
myself.
reading
Yeah,
done.
once you get some recommendations in, then you can make a
Yeah.
decision. Or once we've kind of reached, I don't know, like 50 episodes or something, then you've got a
Or
good
when you just can't get no one
selection.
in no more. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's all right, mate. Excellent. So moving on around the campfire, the next question that comes up is, what's the most meaningful comic to you?
I think it's pretty much like I said, it's Silver Surfer. It's the
Mm,
earliest memories I have. Whenever I go back, I feel nostalgic, happy. I love the stories. I love the complexity in what all the stories try and achieve and what kind of aspects of life they try and deal with, which are sometimes really big because they're outside of our own conceptual understanding. And it is something that it was the comic that rekindled my love of comics while I was in hospital.
mm.
So it holds something there for me. It really does. And my fiance now knows that because I'm obsessed and I literally have almost everything. So
Yeah. So
I've just got
your
comic
office is
wise.
turning into Silver
Yeah.
Surfer lair.
Well, to put it this way, I have every single comic, main run Silver Surfer comic, up to today, apart from the first 8 or so of the first series because
First
they're
original,
thousands. Yeah, because they're thousands of pounds and I ain't there yet.
they would be.
But
One day,
but
one
but
day.
I even buy like the German and the French ones or any foreign
Oh
ones because I
wow.
like the covers. I don't
Yeah.
even can't even read them, but the art is different. So like
Oh cool.
the covers are
It's good
different.
to have all
So
that variant. Right.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
wicked.
So that's
Amazing.
deep.
You're going to have to do an exhibition, a Silver Surfer exhibition
Yeah,
or
just come
something
look at
like
my
that.
stuff.
That'd be cool, wouldn't it? Yeah, totally, man. Do a pop up exhibition at a
Yeah,
convention one time or something.
yeah. I turned
Um,
up to London. Oh, what was it? Oh, I can't remember what the name of it was. London Comic something, and
yeah, there
it
was
wasn't
a.
MCM. It was the other one. I can't remember the other one.
Mm,
And they had Dan Slott there, and I literally turned up with 30 comics and put them in front of him and said, "Would you mind signing them? I can queue up if you want me to do it in chunks." They
yeah,
just stood there for an hour, like good. I'm not even joking. It's probably about 30 minutes signing and
really
talking his life stories, and it was
amazing.
amazing.
Nice guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Amazing. And just going back to kind of why this is so meaningful, and it rekindled your love for it. But you mentioned
Yeah,
your time in hospital, and kind of
yeah,
I know why you were in hospital,
yeah,
but would you mind sharing with the listeners why?
yeah, yeah. No, of course, yeah. I don't make a secret of it, so that's absolutely fine. In 2013, I got diagnosed with acute lymphoblastic leukemia, which, if you don't know, is a blood cancer that is usually found in younger children. So
Mm,
it's quite rare to get it as an adult. And when I was diagnosed, I had 50-50 chance to get through. I think it was 2 or 3 weeks. I can't remember. My fiance normally tells me off for telling it wrong, but it felt like, yeah. So, yeah. And then I was in hospital for about 4 months, I think it was, just being pumped full of liquids of various degrees and tablets. And it was only December not December. Some point at the end of last year, I got the final clear. And as much as they can say in terms of being cured, because they don't know how to cure your disease, but I've only ever got to have one more appointment, which is this October, and then I don't ever have to see my doctor again. So that's really exciting. But and obviously that's why I ended up doing the charity as well. Was I came out of hospital and wanted to give back to. Initially, it was the hospital that helped me that I wanted to give back to, and it just grew from there. So. Yeah,
it's amazing, mate, that you've gone through that, and you've gone on to create this amazing charity that's continually giving back to the hospital and hospitals around the country.
Yeah, I think we've done.
How many kits now have you got?
So off the top of my head, I think it's about 17 locations, including the ones I'm doing right now.
Brilliant.
And I think that's just over 800 kits.
Amazing.
So we're almost at our 1,000 target, getting very close. We're about to send out 45 this week, so that's exciting.
That is brilliant. And kind of from the photos and things that are on the website, it looks like the kids absolutely love them.
Yeah, for all the feedback we do get, we are getting some great photos, some great feedback on what they're trying to achieve and what they're drawing. We've actually got to send out a more formal email at some point to be like, do you mind giving us some more hardened feedback based on some questions so that we can work out what we're going to do this year. Because obviously we've got the new magazine now to go into it as well. So we're going to reach out to the hospitals that we've already done 800 kits to and say, do you want one of these? Do you need some of these comics as well? Because obviously we've made them. We want you to have them. So that's something else we need to reach out for them for as well. So
amazing. And really you need as much support with that as possible, really, don't you? So if anybody wants to kind of buy kits, not just kind of for themselves, but to help fund them for hospitals, they can go to the website, right?
Yeah, on the website there is a donate button, but if Just Giving, anything like that, you can just type in the charity name into Just Giving and you can donate via that as well.
Amazing. And all that money will go towards giving kids comic making kits with long-term illnesses. So it's a very worthy cause. Fantastic. So moving on to the next question that's asked is, what's the most underrated comic?
I think I was going to go with a creator on this one rather than a comic.
Yeah, collection.
Yeah, a collection. Because I think all of them in their own right should be a lot more mainstream than they are, with TV deals and movies. I was going to say that literally anything written by Matt Garvey, I know that all your listeners are now going, oh, not Matt Garvey again.
Not that guy.
Because everyone knows Matt Garvey
sure,
in our little world.
Totally.
Yeah. But I've literally bought every single book that this guy has written now, because every time I buy one, I have to read the next one, and then I have to read the next one, and then he'll post a page to me about the next one that is coming out, and then all of a sudden I've got that one. And every single book, I just don't know why he's not writing for someone big full time.
It is a wonder, really. And I mean, his latest one, Red Rocket Comet, was brilliant. And obviously won the Pipe Dream indie comic of the year, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
that was a great comic, and
I messaged him
get picked up by a mainstream publisher.
I literally messaged him yesterday or today, I can't remember, just saying, can you just get Ether number 2 out, please? I'm fed up waiting, because I'm that desperate to read the next issue. And I find it really hard to get comics that make me immediately want the next one. Sometimes I just feel like, yeah, that's great, I can wait for the next one. But pretty much anything Matt writes, I'm just like, I want it. But he didn't pay me or anything, just so everyone knows.
No, yeah, it's totally legit.
Legit, yeah.
And yeah, if people want to check out Matt Garvey, it's Matt, obviously, and Garvey is spelled Garvey. And if you just Google him, Matt Garvey Comics, and then I'm sure all of his website and whatnot will come up, and you can take it from there. But yeah, I mean, on his Twitter as well, he's always kind of, giving out free low res copies and things for people to read before they buy. So yeah, definitely check it out.
Well, I think the thing is, now that we've said his name and your audience are listening to it, it'll be like the Alexa Inception. All of a sudden, I'm pretty sure a comic will appear in their inbox. It's how he works. It's magic. I don't understand it, but
scary. I think the apocalypse is going to come about because of Alexa. So, it's going to happen. Anyway, so moving on to the next question is, for you, what is the best comic of all time?
I'm just going to be boring, aren't I? I'm just going to say Silver Surfer again. But to pick one, oh god, to pick an issue,
a particular one.
Do you know what? I will pick number 6.
Cool.
Because it would be a toss up. It would be number 6 because of how much it holds and how much it brought me into that world and made me want to stay. But then also the last issue of the latest series and how that made me feel and sad. And I don't want to ruin it, but it does something to the Kirby Crackle that, it's good. Forever
heartbreaking.
Will hold peace. Yeah. So it'll be a toss up between them. But if I have to pick one, it'll be 6, just for that nostalgic reason.
Awesome. And if you could only take one of these comics into the apocalypse from this list, which would it be?
And I'll take one of the hardbacks. Does it have to be a thin one?
No. It's all up to you. Depends how much weight you want to be carrying, really.
Well, I'll carry it around because if there is anyone that gets on my nerves, at least you can bop them over the head.
Yeah, it's a weapon as well.
Yeah, I'm going to take the 600-page tome of the latest series, I think.
Wow. How heavy is that?
Quite heavy. I think it's a good 4 kilogram probably.
I was going to say, it must be pretty hefty.
Yeah. But it's beautiful, and it's got a wraparound art from Allred as well, which he literally drew every kind of story that happened throughout the whole series on the front cover. So it's a pretty amazing bit of art.
That is epic, mate. Epic.
And if all else did fail, won't have to do it, but at least got some firewood.
Yeah, exactly. If the worst comes to worst, then you could always use it as a bit of firewood. But talking of kind of surviving and things, we're now on to our final question, which is, what weapon, tool, or useful item would you like to take into the apocalypse?
So originally I was going to... I did write this down for you, and I'm sorry, but I was going to put multi-tool. Yeah. Because I thought I'd be practical. I'd be like, as a fire starter, flint, all this kind of stuff. Aaron's ready. But I was watching Naked and Afraid the other day on TV.
Oh, yeah, that is such a good program.
It was the first time I'd ever seen it. And they just had machetes. And I was like, these people can do anything with a machete.
Yeah.
So I want a machete.
Awesome. Just
not the multi-tool, I want a machete. I'm going to make my tools.
Oh, yeah. Well, totally. That's the idea of the machete, is that it's a useful item to create other things as well. And it's also a good weapon as well. Pretty useful, definitely. Nobody's going to mess with you with a machete.
And a great
hopefully,
film.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And hopefully, you'll be able to rebuild the world with a machete, Aaron.
And Milmo's tea.
Yeah, as well, with her soy milk. And you'll have to wait because we were recording this before Dan Butcher's episode comes out.
So I don't know that one yet.
You don't know that one yet. You'll have to wait and see. But together, I think you'll make an interesting group. And I think we're going to have to collate all of the weapons and useful items that people choose and kind of.
I was just thinking that maybe this is your next Kickstarter book, isn't it?
Yeah, that'd be amazing, wouldn't it?
Group of people stuck in the woods.
Exactly, like have somebody draw all of the guests with their useful item. on like for an A4 print or something.
That'd be cool.
That would be rad. Maybe I
I'm
will
buying
do
it.
that. I don't know. Yeah, totally, man. I'll be there. Excellent. Well, thank you so much for your time today, Aaron.
Absolutely. Thank you,
It's
man.
been fantastic to catch up and learn about your love for the Silver Surfer.
Oh yeah,
And
too much.
yeah, exactly. No, not at all, mate. I mean, it's an amazing journey that you've been on. With everything, and it's great to hear that you're all in the clear, and the future for Little Heroes and Fair Spark, I hope is very bright, and I kind of hope to be a bit of part of that in the near future. I mean, I've featured in a Little Heroes anthology already, and hoping to feature in another one, and fingers crossed we'll have something else out.
I'm sure I'll tie you to a chair and get you to do something. It's fine.
Awesome. That's great, Aaron. Fantastic. So one last time, where can people find you?
If you just type into any social media Fair Sparks Books or Little Heroes Comics, you'll pretty much find us. So yeah, simplest way.
Isn't it? Just Google it.
Yeah, just Google it.
Straight.
I've made sure that when you do Google it, it does come up.
Exactly. Just
in
double
case.
check that you are kind of on the first page.
Yeah.
Excellent. And you'll be at True Believers.
I will. Yeah, that's when we officially launch the magazine. You can buy it on our website now, and you may get them early. I'm not going to tell you if you are or not, but the official release date is at True Believers.
Amazing.
And we'll also be launching Snuffy and Zoe, which is another children's book we've got coming out on True Believers as well. So definitely stop by our table.
Fantastic. Yes, please do. I look forward to catching up with you there as well.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. All right, Aaron. Well, thanks again for your time, and I'll see you soon.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
See you, mate. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks again to Aaron for being on Comics for the Apocalypse. If you enjoyed the show, please leave a review for us on iTunes or whichever podcast service you use, as not only will it let me know that you liked it, but I believe it helps make other people aware of the show as well. If you'd like to check out Aaron's work or follow him on social media, those links are in the show notes, along with all of our social links as well. And finally, as long as the apocalypse doesn't come to pass in the next week, I'll see you next Monday. Bye for now.